Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain? Anybody gotta pray like a say for this love pain? Yeah. Ooh, I need it for this love pain. Anybody got a prescription? Yeah, for this love pain. Anybody gotta feel like a pop for this love pain? Anybody gotta pray like a say for this love pain? Yeah. Ooh, I need it for this love pain. Anybody got a prescription?
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? How is you? This is Vivian, and this is the Successful Mind Power Hour, and today is Monday again, and it's the first Monday in May. So we had April showers. Now we're going to have these May flowers, so look out for that, right? When you go outside and have your little outside time today, look out for the May flowers. They're probably blooming all around you. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Everything gonna be all right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And good morning, Ruby. How are you this morning? So if you are new to this broadcast, please give StreamYard permission for me to see your comments, and please make some comments because I really like to hear from you, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on replay. Comment. It's cool. If you're watching on Facebook, please like and share. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Now, all that administrative stuff is over. Let's get to it, right? So, I was thinking about this last night or this morning, actually, when my brain was going like a mile a minute. And so I was thinking about how we all fall down sometimes. Remember that game we used to play as kids? I don't know how old you are. Some of you younger people probably don't remember this game, but it was a game called Ring Around the Rosy. And we used to sing this little song whenever we were going, hopping around. And we used to ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. But remember what happened once you fell down? You were giggling and laughing, and you thought this was the best thing since sliced bread. And what did you do after that? You got up and you did it again, right? So this is like how we used to do, how we should do in life. Sing a song, have that thing in your life that you can do that ring around the rosy song and say, I might fall down, but I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna try it again. So when we fall down, or we fail at something, or we do something that, or have done something that we're not quite proud of, or we're maybe even embarrassed by, doesn't mean that defines our life. Do you agree? I mean, because we are all human beings and we're going to fail at something. We can't let that failure or that thing or whatever happened in our past determine our future. Now, this is not intended to be a reminder of your failures. We can remember those, but we learn from them, right? So how many times have you failed in life, or thought you failed? Because if you got back up, you really didn't fail. It was just a misstep, a mishap. And you might have fallen several times. But remember, no matter how many times you fail, remember how many times you got up. Don't focus on the failure. Focus on how many times you got up. Now, this morning, on our daily inspiration call, I want to kind of reiterate this story that Mr. Avinash Nagamar told in the daily inspiration. And it kind of fits in with what I'm talking about here. Because he said there was a professor and he told the students we're going to have a pop quiz, right? And so he gave them the test. It was turned over. You know how they do with the pop quizzes. They turn the test over so you can't like start before anybody else and you can't see the questions until he says to start. And so he says, when I say start, turn your paper over and look at the paper. So on the paper, there was a black dot in the middle of the paper. And when he turned the paper over, everybody was confused. They were looking for questions or something, or to write an essay or something, but it was just a black dot in the middle of the paper. And he said to them, write what you see. And so the students all start writing about the dot. They were writing how big it was, how black it was, where it was positioned on the paper, and everything was about the dot. So when everybody turned in their paper, he started to read their answers. And everybody was still a bit confused and they didn't really know what was going on. He said, you know what, I'm not going to grade you on these papers. What I wanted to see was what you saw. And the thing is that everybody saw the dot, but they didn't see the huge space of opportunity around the dot. And so when you fall down in life, don't focus on the fact that you fell. Focus on the fact that you got up. That's the big picture. That's what's going to determine your future. And no one leaves this life without falling down at least once, probably more than that. Because remember, when we're babies, how many times does a baby fall down while they're attempting to walk? Do they just sit there and go, you know what, I'm just not going to do this walking thing because, I keep falling down and I'm not doing it anymore. But that's what us grown-ups do, right? We tend to say, you know what, I fell down. This didn't work for me, so I'm not doing it anymore. I give up. That's what grown-ups do, right? But look at it from a different perspective. Look at it from the perspective of, man, I can get back up and try it again. I'm not finished. I can get back up and try it again. Oh my God, good morning, Susan. Good to see you, honey. So let me just give you a quote. So Abraham Lincoln said, the great thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. And when you think about falling down, you're probably saying to me, well, Vivian, what does that quote have to do with falling down, right? Well, think about it. So it's a statement that you have to consider when you're considering staying down. Staying down because you think, well, my future's already set because I've done this, this, and this in my past. I've fallen down, I've failed, I've done these things that I don't want anybody to find out about. I was embarrassed about, blah, 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 blah. That whole conversation. But what you're forgetting is that you shouldn't be looking backwards. You should be looking forward and seeing the big picture around what happened in the black dot, right? There's so much room for opportunity and growth, but you're only seeing the failure. But when you only see the failure, you don't realize that your future is going to come day by day. This is not going to be instantaneous. That's why they call it the future. The future is ahead of us. Ahead of us, not what we did back then, not even what we're doing now. Now, what we're doing now may determine our future or may be a contributing factor in our future, but it won't define us. You're only defined by your final act. whatever that final act may be, you're defined by it. But as you build your future, it only comes one day at a time. And you have to really think about that. Because sometimes what happens is we compare our missteps and our falling down to other people we see online. You do know that most people online are not going to show you their failures. They are only going to advertise their wins. Nobody's going to say, oh, well, I failed at this, and this today, and then let that be it. No. So stop comparing your life with their life because theirs might look better right now. You don't know even if it's true. They may be projecting their future and doing mantras, doing affirmations. So they're saying it in present tense, but it may or may not be happening right now. Are they lying? No, not necessarily. Because if it's an affirmation is your agreement with the universe that this is going to happen or this is happening in your life. Because it's happening, it just hasn't quite manifested yet. So sometimes when we do that, when we compare ourselves with somebody else's successes or illusion of success, then we do ourselves a disservice, because now whenever we feel like we messed up, we don't want to get up because it doesn't look like that person's. You can't do that to yourself. You have to look at what you do, learn from it, get up, and keep going. Think about that game, Ring Around the Rosy. We all fall down, but we keep getting back up. We are going to laugh. We may even cry, because sometimes, we actually fall down, but you can get back up if you want to. That's the thing. You have to want to. Now, trust me when I say all of these people who are successful now have had their periods of falling down. They haven't always been successful. They haven't always been rich. They haven't always been happy. They haven't even, somebody might even tell you that, but it's probably not true that they haven't gone through anything. Even those people that were born into wealth, they've gone through something. It may not be a struggle for money, but there's challenges in everybody's life. And when you start comparing your challenges to their challenges and think, oh, well, they're lucky, or they had an advantage, or whatever it is, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're counting yourself out before you even get to first base. So the difference between those successful people and those of us who let their past define them is that they don't always show you their failures or the times that they fell down, but they do fall down, but they don't let it keep them down. That's the difference. If you let your failures or your challenges keep you down, then you are a failure. You have failed. But as long as you keep getting back up and don't quit, you're a winner. And just think about, concentrate and focus on your winning, not on the times that you failed, or the times things went wrong, or the times you did something wrong or said something wrong. Okay, it's already said, it's already out. You know how they say when you say something, you can't take it back? Well, no, you can't. It's out there in the universe. It's out there. You can say you're sorry. You can say whatever you got to say, but the words are still there, right? But that's the same thing with maybe something you did. It's done. You can't take it back. It's already done. You can say you're sorry. You can be remorseful for it, whatever it is you want to do, but you can't take it back because it's already done. So, and if you think about it that way, it's okay, well, that's already done and over. Let me move on to the next thing. Let me move on to bigger and better things. Let me get better one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. And every day, if I can get better, a little bit better every single day, me falling down is not going to affect me as bad as it did maybe before. It'll get easier and easier to get up when you fall down. You know, just think about that. And here's a mantra that I wrote down. So if I'm looking down, I'm reading. This is a mantra that you can repeat to yourself. Okay. We all fall down, but I get back up. I step into my future one day at a time. The past is gone, and I am not the person I was yesterday. I am one day better than I was yesterday, one day wiser than I was yesterday, and one day closer to my ultimate greatness. Say that to yourself. You don't have to say it exactly like that. That's just what I wrote down for me. Okay? But this is what I wrote down because this is what came to my head when to help me when I have those days when things are not going well, or maybe I did something wrong or said something wrong, or I'm falling too much into my past and letting it affect my present. So this is a mantra that you can say to yourself every single day. And I'm going to read it again. And I did put it in the description. So if you want to read it and write it down and keep it, you can do that for yourself. So I'm going to read it one more time. Okay. We all fall down, but I get back up. I step into my future one day at a time. The past is gone, and I am not the person I was yesterday. I am one day better today than I was yesterday, one day wiser than I was yesterday, and one day closer to my ultimate greatness. So think about it. We all fall down, but we can get back up and keep going one day at a time. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from Oprah Winfrey. Actually, it was in my journal that I got from Dean Graziosi. It's a Better Life journal. If you want to get one, pretty sure you can go to his site and get one. But the quote says, challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them. Just find a new way to stand. So with that, I am going to leave you, ladies and ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. And don't forget to like and share this video with someone you think may need to hear this message or whatever. Okay. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, please like and share. On YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so that you can see when I upload or when I go live again, because I'm pretty much going live most of these days. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you day after tomorrow. But in the meantime, I wish you peace. I wish you love, and I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.